with the barbiturates. They seem to be considered pretty harmless, and as a rule they are, but the exceptions are awful exceptions. This story doesn't begin in a backroom dope den, and it doesn't begin with a crazy bunch of young thrill seekers. It begins in a perfectly respectable business office, and it concerns a perfectly respectable woman who's quite a distance away from her carefree teens. Every person who lives is subject to stresses, to pressures from outside. For some of us, at some times, the pressures seem almost too much to bear. That's the way she feels right now, as if the entire world were concentrating its aggregate energy into harassing her, picking at her, sniping at her. She'd like to scream, throw a typewriter through the window. She'd like to cry. Of course, she can't throw a typewriter through the window. She can't cry. She needs the job. But there's another way to gain relief. She's been to a doctor, and he's prescribed mild sedation to carry her over the rough points. And it works, oh, not immediately, but once she's gotten these little pills inside her, she knows that help is on the way. Half an hour from now, she'll be as calm as a Supreme Court judge. The office ordeal is out of the way for today, but that doesn't mean her day or her problems are over. She comes home to another, even greater responsibility, and to her, responsibility means stress, and stress means panic.
Mommy, 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 mommy.
It's important that you realize this. The woman we're talking about isn't necessarily a weak woman or an irresponsible one, and the actual nature of the stresses shown here are arbitrary. Her office could have been a bridge club. The worrying she does about a child could have been about an overdue bill or an imagined insult. What I'm trying to say is that every human being has a danger point. This woman is reaching hers, and she knows it. When she screams, "Shut up," she's not talking just to the boy. She's talking to the entire world. She's screaming for relief. And she knows where to find it now. But the bottle's empty much too soon. The doctor told her to be very careful to never, under any circumstances, increase the dosage. But she believes they work twice as well if you double the number you take. Of course, you run out twice as quickly, and the doctor might catch on to what you're doing. But she's got that figured out, too. You just go to 2 doctors, and then 3, and then as many as you can wheedle a prescription out of. First, she grabs a tube of toothpaste. She wants to make the druggist believe that she just happened to think of the prescription in her purse. One of the first and almost invariable signs of addiction is the victim's anxiety to keep his drug consumption a secret. The addict will manufacture complicated stories to justify his use of the pills. Most often, the stories will involve very serious illnesses which require the drugs as analgesics. Because of her great dependency on the pills, she's afraid he won't sell them to her. Actually, there's no reason he shouldn't. Her prescription is perfectly legitimate, and the doctor who wrote it is probably a perfectly legitimate doctor. It's just that she's been seeing too many legitimate doctors. A few hours and a few pills later, she finally seems to be in the clear. Boy's in bed, the housework's done, and nothing now until morning. But she won't think about morning yet. Just sleep. It's all she wants. And there's only one way to get sleep. Now she's at ease, nothing to fear. 7 hours of surcease purchased with 2 little pellets of expanding darkness inside of her. This is the one time she really feels relaxed, just after she's taken the pills. It's the one time when if you asked her, she'd tell you sure she could stop taking the pills anytime she wanted to. She'll insist she isn't hooked. And if you aren't convinced, she'll probably hold out her hand to show you how steady it is. How could she be hooked? There she is going to sleep like a baby, and she's only had a couple of dozen pills today. 11:15, sound asleep. 4:35, miserably awake. She can't figure out why she's so restless, and then suddenly it occurs to her. She must have forgotten to take her pills before she went to bed. She'll soon fix that. It happens every day. Check an emergency hospital log, any emergency hospital. You take an overdose of barbiturates and you go to sleep. Then you wake up a few hours later and you forgot how much you've taken. She's so groggy she can hardly stand up, but she's convinced a sleeping pill will fix everything. Well, maybe 2 sleeping pills. Better make it 3. 3 more pills for 3 more hours of sleep. I'll tell you something. You don't play with barbiturates that way and get away with it. You end up dead or in a hospital getting your stomach pumped out. Or you end up hooked real bad. You end up not being able to take care of your job or your home. Not being able to take care of yourself. You take pills to knock you out. You drink coffee to pull yourself together. And after a while, neither one really works. You can't go to sleep and you can't wake up. And you don't have that feeling of sweet relaxation anymore. You know now that the pills are killing you, but you don't know how to stop. You find it hard to care now about the things you used to care for most. Facing your responsibilities was difficult before. Now it's impossible. Some people are mothers and breadwinners and homemakers. But now you're not any of those things. You're a barbiturate addict.